Welcome to Friday Fuel. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Friday Fuel. We are so happy to have you here. Episode 5. We're rocking it. We're crushing it. We got Collin here today. We got Alex and myself, of course. What's going on, guys?
It's going good, man. I'm excited for another Friday Fuel.
The boys, let's go. Absolutely.
Let's go.
All righty. So want to get started today. We want to make sure you guys allow StreamYard to view your comments if you haven't done so already. We want to make sure that we see you, give you a shout out. Absolutely, of course. Shout out Medicare Machine Factory, Joshua Youngs. That man is a killer. He helps so many agents. He helps so many clients, and we love him over here for sure. Facebook user, make sure you allow StreamYard. Just a reminder, of course, we're the once overlooked, now overlooked boys. You know, we're grinding. We're putting our names out there in the industry and coming here on Fridays and hoping to give your morning coffee and go make it your best Friday yet. You know, so
let's go.
The theme for today is going to be mindset and going all in. So to get started, Collin, what does that kind of mean, you know, for yourself and for your business?
Yeah, so going all in has been the secret to any success that I've had at all in my life. You can't see any high level of success. You can see a little bit of success by dipping your toes in. But if you want to see a high level of success, you have to go all in. And so what that means to me is that I'm never going to get another job in insurance. When I started insurance, I told my wife, and especially when I went independent on my own, I was like, hey, we're going to make this work. This is going to be hard. It's going to be a slow build, but I promise you it'll be worth it. And so having that resolve when I started, knowing that I was going to finish, too many agents start and just try it. And so that's where they fail, is because they say, okay, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to dip my toes in and we'll see if this insurance thing works. Whereas it's a slow build for some people, especially if you're on the health insurance side of things. And so for me, being all in knows that when I start something, I'm going to finish it. And then that's where I've seen the majority of my success is just not giving up.
And that's so huge. When he starts something, he finishes it. I know I get trapped in that hole of, you know, I'm 1,000 miles a minute. I want so many projects. You know, I really do struggle with starting something and then, of course, not finishing it. So that's super huge. That's something I'm going to take myself. Alex, what does going all in mean for you, man?
Yeah, so I think going all in just means it really means like a winner. I feel like if you go all in, I feel like you're going to be a winner. I think a winner is someone that does daily activities, right? That leads them to a final destination, right? So let's say you have an activity goal, right? If you go all in on that activity goal, I could say that you are a winner because every single day you hit that activity goal, right? And when you have those activity goals every single day, the production is going to come right back up with it. I've said that before, right? So going all in really means just like what we said, our mindset, right? And how if you change your mindset and the way you think, with going all in, you'll be very, very successful. You'll be a winner, just like what I said. So I think really going all in means that you're a winner, and a winner really does things every single day that are the small wins that will lead to the big wins at the end of the week, right? So you got to have those small wins throughout the week, every single week, right? You help 3 families, 4 families, 5 families, right, a day. Those are all the small wins that'll add up to the end of the week, and then you can really tell yourself that I won this week, right? So going all in is a winner.
That's huge. And I think just to harp back kind of on what Collin said is dipping your toes in and trying it, even if you're busting your butt while you're doing that, is not going all in. This business and this industry, you very much need the immersion. There's so much information. There's so much nuance. There's so many different client personalities that without that immersion, like both of y'all said, you will not see that level of success that you want to see for yourself. It's just not possible.
Yeah,
Dude, that's so good, bro. Just like what Brian said, a winner does whatever it takes. Never
There
stop.
you go.
Right?
Never stops. Small
Smart.
wins lead to huge ones. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and the thing about mindset and going all in is I feel like a lot of us can get caught up in the cliche of it, the kind of, the rah, as Collin said earlier, of what mindset and changing your mindset means. And I can't think of a better example of a mindset shift and how that leads to success than what I've seen firsthand with Collin. During our competition of the Ultimate Agent, this guy, again, the greatest example of how changing your mindset can lead to greater success. And why don't I go ahead and allow you to go ahead and discuss that, Collin?
Sure thing, man. Yeah, and for me, we've talked about this story before on the podcast, but I was having a crummy morning, to say the least. It started out okay. I think I'd gotten one sale just right off the bat. But then I had a big old gap while I saw everybody out selling, that I was just getting no after no after no, people swearing at me, all sorts of stuff. Alex calling my leads, all that good stuff. And so, I was to my breaking point that I hadn't been to in a long time. And so Cody, being the good man that he is, brought me into his office and told me to take a walk. And so a lot of times, we can go to conferences or we can talk to our leader, our mentor, or whatever, and they tell us to do something simple. And because of the simplicity of it, we don't do it.
Yep.
Whereas it's just like, okay, all I need to do is go take a walk, call my wife, have my wife tell me to quit being a little baby about it, and then just get back into work.
Yeah.
And so I went for a walk. It was raining outside, but that was actually kind of nice. Called my wife, reset my mindset, did some push-ups in the in the driveway, and then went back in and I sold my next 2 calls. And so it's little things like that, to where it's just like, there was part of me, I know not one of us on the Ultimate Agent went in there saying, okay, if it gets tough, I'm going to quit.
Yep.
We had to be sent home.
Yep.
And too many agents go in and they don't have that mindset. They're like, hey, look, I'm going to do whatever I need to until somebody sends me home. Nobody's going to send you home in the real world. But too many people go in and then they just quit. Yep. And so that for me was my biggest takeaway. Also seeing you guys, that it's just like, hey, like, we're here, we're doing it, we're all in. Not one of us is going to go home by quitting just because it got hard. So
that's good, bro. That's money.
And I just want to make a quick point to that. Listen to what Collin said. There was no difference from Collin in the morning to Collin after that walk outside, besides his mindset. He didn't go outside and get brand new leads. He didn't go outside and get a brand new script. The only thing that he had was fixing his mental, going back in there and getting back after it. There's no magic sauce. There's no magic leads, no magic script that's going to change a bad mindset. None whatsoever.
100%.
One thing I would mention, just to touch on that, I was at Cody's office 2 days ago now for the Power Players meeting, whatever. It was a really fun experience. And one analogy we talked about when we were masterminding together is, and this is for an agency owner, right? A team leader, like we're all trying to become, right? And the analogy was said that, are you wanting to use your time with people that are swimming towards you or away from you, right? So if you're at the top somewhere, you're always going to have people swimming towards you and away from you, right? Which ones are you really going to take? Because are you going to let go of the people that are swimming away from you, or are you just going to let them take themselves out, like take the trash out, right? or are you just going to let them take themselves out? Because the thing is, one thing that I've learned, and it really changed my mind, was in my mindset, was we're spending too much time with the agents that are swimming away from us, right? Because time is money, right? We're spending too much time with the agents swimming away from us and not spending enough time with the agents that are swimming towards us, right? And that's one really, really big takeaway I had from that day is like, dude, like even for me, I feel like sometimes I'm spending time with the wrong people. I need to continue to keep bringing in the people that want to work with me, right? Not the people that don't want to work with me, right? That's one thing that I really took away from that day and kind of pitching it back into our mindset shift.
Yeah, dude, that's huge, man. One of the things that I've learned about Donnie, you honestly are the best example of being all in that I've seen, honestly. And I'm not just saying that. You're the dude that drives 15 hours or 12 hours or however freaking long it is, and you spent your last penny to come to the Ultimate Agent. So can you tell them about that, what that took? Because I honestly think that if I was in your shoes and I had $200 left or however much you had left and you had to spend that, I don't know if I could have done that, honestly. And I thought, until now that I was kind of all in on it, but I don't know, dude.
I appreciate that compliment. And to say one thing is, I am that guy where I don't know anything else besides all in. I'm so incredibly passionate. I'm so incredibly tenacious that it's hard for me to relate to people who aren't that way, because it is such a second nature to just go out there and get it. And maybe it's because, I'm a Florida boy and down here things are a little bit different than the rest of the US, but we go get after it, man. And to not get too off topic and to loop back. Yeah. I went to Missouri, Springfield, Missouri from Ocala, Florida. I drove 15 hours. I had $450 in my bank account, and it was enough to get me there and enough to get me home in gas money. And I was probably going to have to go easy on the gas on the way home to really kind of make it, if I'm honest with you. I'm driving a truck, so I don't have the best gas mileage. But during that competition, I knew that I had to sell and get a policy in if I wanted to make it home. I know when I got there that I was going to make this work. And if I didn't, then I had no way to get home. My back was up against the wall. I wish I could say that it was, 100%, my ability to go get after it, but it was something that I put myself in a situation to. I have no choice. I have no choice but to get after it. And I did. I realized about a couple days in that I genuinely had a chance to rock this thing. And, my work ethic was going to propel me for any amount of leads that I couldn't buy. And I went into Cody and I said, Cody, I got, $200 right now left in my bank account, and I'm about to spend them all on leads. And to end that week, I ended up selling just under $10,000 in APV. And I promise you, I went home with a plenty of stops. I got food on the way home. I got drinks on the way home.
He got himself a Red Bull on the way home.
I got a Red Bull on the way home. I turned $200 and some free leads, I'll be honest with you, into $10,000 in APV and just around there for of course, commission.
That's beast mode, bro. Dude, I would have to say, Donnie, and me and Collin can even agree on this. The one person that I could say definitely worked, one of the hardest working people at that week was you, bro. Without a doubt. Yeah. Like, you are the prime example of going all in, like, without a doubt, dude. Like, sometimes when me and Collin would be catching up or something, talking about me getting his leads or whatever, dude, you would be sitting up here, and I made the joke of it, right? You'd be sitting up here, bro, so focused on your screen, bro, like getting to the next call. Dude was even
Donnie's this close to his screen, dude.
Yeah, dude, he was focused, bro. It was serious, and you guys will see him in the show. He was seriously all in and committed, and I loved it. And one thing that also Donnie did, which is kind of funny, is he would be calling these leads, telling them that we had an appointment 3 months ago, and booking them the appointment. Right.
All right, listen, let me stop you right there, because I got to give this tip to everybody out there. If you're working god awful aged leads, listen, you hit them with a quick little, hey, just to loop back, it looks like we had, a scheduling issue back in the day. I'm just wondering if we could go ahead and reschedule that appointment. And guess what, man? It works. It works. It gets them in an appointment. I sold at least 3 off of like multiple year age leads just by doing that.
That's freaking beast mode, bro.
You got to go get it, bro. You got to go get it. You got to go get it.
Donnie was coming up with stuff I had never heard of before just to try to get in front of these people. It was awesome, though. Honestly, he made it work.
And to prove a point even further, I was working leads where I called a guy and I got connected with his sister, and his sister told me the guy that I was calling on died in 2017.
That's how old these leads were that we were dialing.
That's how old these leads that I were working with. 10,000 APV with leads of people who died in 2017, guys. Like there's no excuse. It's all your mindset. It's all how much work you want to perform, how much work you want to do, how bad do you want to get after, how bad do you want to make it work.
Yep.
That's the real, bro. I mean,
Mamba mentality, absolutely. Mamba mentality.
For real. Yes, dude. And everyone on the show will see Donnie, bro. That every insurance agent that could be struggling, right? That's one thing. Like if you have $200 in your bank account, right, your back's already up against the wall, right? And one thing I also learned,
Brian's got some leads for you.
I'll take them.
One thing I also learned at the day with Cody is that every problem is a new opportunity, right? So stop thinking of everything's a problem. It's all crap, dude. Donnie, for example, he had $200 in his bank account. He used that as a prime opportunity to go forward, right? He didn't sit there and complain, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I only got $200, right? He used the prime example to go ahead and push forward, right? You only have a certain money in your bank account. Your back's already against the wall. You can't go back any farther, right? I mean, there's not much more you can go back, right? So why not? This is a prime opportunity to go ahead and move forward and strive your goals and do whatever it takes to win, right? So that's the prime example, man.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I grew up with a single parent. My mother was all I've ever known. All we've ever done was struggle. Struggling is not scary to me whatsoever. I'm not scared to spend my last dollar on something I think is going to propel me forward. I've been in the trenches, and I know a lot of people around me have too. And they're scared to go back, and that fear of going back is what's keeping you from going forward. The fear of going backwards is keeping you from going forwards.
100%.
When you've made it out of the trenches, you've survived this far. What are you scared of? You're here. You're still fighting. There's nothing stopping you. You can't let yourself stop you from going forward, but none whatsoever. $200, I can go make $200 easy now. Before that competition, absolutely not.
Exactly, bro.
100%. That reminds me. So I was reading a book called The Underdog Advantage. It's by Dean Graziosi. And so he talks about how just exactly what Donnie and Alex are talking about. When your back is against the wall, that's actually an advantage that a lot of people, when you're on your bottom dollar or whatever it is, a lot of people that's when they quit. But really, he's like that's the biggest advantage you could have, because how much worse can it get?
Absolutely.
And so that's when you do spend your last dollar. That's when you do act. And honestly, I believe in a God that blesses us in the fourth quarter. There's been so many times in my life where I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, I don't know where the grocery money's going to come from. I don't know, how we're going to do this or that or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden a big case comes through or whatever it is. God will bless you in the fourth quarter, but you also have to be willing. It's like the widow who, made her last little bowl of porridge, and then she was blessed with food for forever for her and her son. And so that's kind of what you got to do. That's what Donnie did. you spent your last little bit, man. Yep. And so you were blessed. And that's when agents quit, and that's when agents don't give that last little bit.
Yep. That's huge. God blesses you in the fourth quarter, man. If I had that piece of information so many years ago, I'd be so much better off now. That's such a little nugget of truth. And I can't tell you how many times that I've been in the pregame, or I've been in the first quarter and second quarter, and I'm just, asking and begging for, for a blessing. And I'm not even close to being at rock bottom yet. I'm not even close to receiving the blessing. And I'm being frustrated, and I'm taking myself out of the game before I can even finish. And I feel like a lot of people, especially our age, and maybe even new agents who are a little bit older, are feeling with the same thing, man. God blesses you in the fourth quarter. Absolutely. You got to make it there first. You got to have the attrition. You got to have the conditioning to make it to the fourth quarter.
Don't tap your helmet and say, "Coach, I'm done."
Coach, take me out.
In the second quarter.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
That's so good. I actually had a question for both of you guys. Would there be, and for agents that are struggling, don't know, their back's up against the wall, right? Is there any quotes or books or mentors that you feel like, or a book specifically that you could suggest to them, right, that could help them?
100%. I'm gonna cut in real quick. The Mountain is You. I wish I could remember the author. If someone in the comments can find that book, it looks just a mountain on the cover, black cover. The Mountain is You. And what it does is it's all about self-depreciation, self-destructive behaviors, and getting out of your own mind. It is one of the best books I've read, because me personally, believe me, no one in this earth could stop me besides myself. And I am my biggest enemy. 100%. And that book has helped me tremendously. The Mountain is You. And I will try to find that up and put it in the comments.
Yeah, the thing that's helped me the most. So, I've talked about my dad a little bit in previous episodes, and my dad's biggest thing, he had a couple sayings. Even if you messed up on the farm, you broke a piece of equipment or whatever, he would get mad at you at first, but then he'd always come back and say, "I still love you."
Yep.
But his other biggest thing was, "Don't you ever quit." And we had this poem, because my dad also, I talked about it. My dad and my mom, we were very poor for a very long time. Farming is not, he wasn't a generational farmer where he had something handed to him, didn't get, 15,000 acres handed to him. He had to go out and get after it. Mm-hmm. So there's this poem that I have actually above my desk that I'll read to you guys. It's called "Don't Quit" by John Greenleaf Whittier. And I read it every day. It says, "When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is strange with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure comes about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell just how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit." And so that right there, like that poem is what got me through a lot of hard days. Just a lot of hard days because of life, not just because of insurance. And so when you have that mindset that it's just like whatever you start, you're going to finish. I don't care how bad it sucks. I don't care whatever, excuse you want to come up with. If you start something, you finish it. And that right there, has helped me. Of course, there's things that, you can't always start what you finish, as far as like, there's things that just aren't right for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Like if you get into a bad relationship, get out of the relationship. Like just because you started that relationship doesn't mean you have to finish the relationship. Right. But for things that when you prayed about it and you felt good about it when you started, that's when you need to finish something.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we've talked about it. God blesses you in the fourth quarter. I truly believe God tests us to see how bad we want things. And he's a God that loves us and wants to bless us. He just wants to see how bad you really want it.
Yeah.
A quote that I really love, and to kind of harp on the spirituality, is God gives his strongest soldiers the toughest battles.
Mm.
And that has lasted with me through the rest of my life and will last with me through the rest of my life. It's so huge. And real quickly before I forget, because I do want to make a note, make sure you take a picture of that, Collin, and post it in the comments of this episode, because that's a really, really great quote, and I want to read it myself. So if you guys want to harp back on it and read that quote yourself every day, that was beautiful. I definitely have never heard that. That's amazing.
That's so good. I would say for the audience watching, right? And this is like I said, another question for you guys. Can you guys recall the time that you had the mindset shift, that you came out of the situation that you were in?
Yeah.
When do you guys feel like that was that time?
Yeah,
Because
because
some people, Donnie,
hearing from us is one thing.
yeah.
We
And
want to hear from y'all.
sorry just to touch on, I mean, agents right now, right? They're people that are watching, their back could be against the wall, like we said, right?
Yep.
So to give them an example, when was the transition with your mindset?
If I had to think of an exact moment, it's very hard because it's levels. Every time that I think that I get to this next level of mindset, something pops up into my life. God puts an obstacle in my life that I overcome, and it makes me realize I'm not even close to what I can achieve. And for sure, the ultimate agent, and for sure, you guys, has been that flip of the switch, is seeing, close friends. It's not people that I don't know anymore that are outperforming me. It's some of my best and good friends that are outperforming me. And I will have to be honest, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, although it doesn't feel good, it pushes me. It's very easy to sit in that feeling of not feeling good and be discouraged. Instead, you have to use that as motivation to say, I do want to feel good. I do want to, beat Collin this week. I do want to beat Alex next week. I don't know if that would ever be possible because Alex is a killer, but I want to get there. I want to, beat Adam next week. There's so many opportunities in life where you have to sit back, regurgitate, think about it, and say, man, I'm not even close yet. There's still levels of this that I can get to, man. And you have to put yourself in opportunities to go achieve those levels. You have to make yourself uncomfortable to see what you got. You have to go spend your last $200 to go see if you can pull it out your butt,
And some people think when you say opportunity, some people think that's the problem. Yep. But right then and there, they think it's a problem. That's a prime opportunity to keep going forward, like we mentioned.
And I can't stand that I don't know how to get opportunities. That no opportunities are coming my way. I'm not a lucky person. Listen, I'm trailer park trash from Florida. I don't deserve any opportunity that ever comes my way, and nothing has been given to me. For the very fact that I don't deserve any of these opportunities is the very fact that I go after and get them. I promise you, there's not anything that'll stop me from achieving greatness. And if you don't have that mindset, you're never going to achieve it. It takes being crazy about it to be crazy good. And if you aren't crazy about it, maybe this isn't for you. Or maybe you need to get crazy. Maybe you need to hang out with me for a day, and I'll get you right. Hit me up. I'll hold you accountable. Ask these guys.
We'll get you crazy.
We'll get you crazy. Don't worry.
Yeah, man. One thing. So I've had a lot of those little moments of just like,
absolutely,
where the flip switches or whatever it is. So I served a mission for my church for 2 years. I got 6 weeks of training. I was called to serve in Brazil, and I had 6 weeks of training to learn Portuguese, and then they just drop you off in the middle of nowhere.
Whew.
And so I got sent to the hottest city in Brazil. It's called Teresina. I get there. I'm the only American. Nobody speaks English. The people who are supposed to pick me up actually forget about me. So I'm sitting at the airport after traveling for over 24 hours, and I'm just sitting there. Anyway, so my first couple weeks, I got robbed. There was snakes and spiders and stuff all in our apartment. I had a gun stuck to my head. All this stuff was happening. And then I read this talk. It's called the Fourth Missionary, and I can compare it to the Fourth Agent. But anyways, there's 4 types of people, really. There's somebody who starts something and quits. There's somebody who sticks it out, but they don't do what they know they're supposed to do. Okay. So they know they're supposed, they stay in insurance, but they're make, 5 dials a day, whatever. They just do it because they just, have to do it, whatever.
Yep.
There's the third person that does everything right. They do everything. They're working hard. They're putting in everything that they have, but their heart's not in it. They don't want to do it. But where the blessings come, and this is in not just as a missionary, but it came, in work as well, is when you do all of those things, but you do it because you want to, and you do it happily. That right there, that's the mind switch, because I was walking every day in 115, it hit 130 degrees, and we didn't have transportation. We didn't have cars. I was walking in this heat every day. And I asked myself, what the freak am I doing here? I don't speak the language. I'm getting robbed, whatever it is. And I read that talk, and it's like, hey, I'm doing these things. I'm the third person right now. I'm knocking a lot of doors, whatever it is. I just need to do it, and I'm happy. And I saw a complete change for the rest of my mission. And it's that same thing with insurance, is that, there's sometimes when I find myself that I'm doing these things, but it's when I switch to want to do it and that I'm happy doing it, that's when I see the sales coming super, super easy. And so don't be the person that's doing everything that requires success. Be the person that's doing everything and wants to do it. So then you'll see, you're going to see so much more money coming in your bank account. So, and you'll be happier.
Do you feel like you can make someone want to do it? Or is it just like a natural instinct, like in themselves, like a DNA thing?
I think what's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can show them, every bit of how to achieve something, but if they don't want to achieve it themselves, then unfortunately it's not going to be there for you.
You can show them the way, for sure. I trained a lot of missionaries out there, and so it was, sometimes I would get the difficult ones that really didn't want to go, that their parents made them go, but you can help them make that mindset because of your example. And so if they see you, Alex, or they see you, Donnie, or Joe, or Ollie, or everybody on the chat, if they see you and you're doing the things that they want to do and you're doing it happily, and they see that you're living that dream life, and it's like, hey, like what, what's he doing different? The only difference is that we're all in. The only difference is that we want to be here, that we want to do it. You can do the same things, but you're going to live an unhappy life, man, if you don't want to be here, if you don't want to do it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, you can help somebody get there, but they have to make the decision themselves, that it's like, okay, yeah, I'm all in. Like I'm here. I'm going to be happy doing it. So
dude, that's
success isn't for everyone, but for those who want it, it's there to be had. That's huge.
Dude, that's perfect too, bro. Just right back to the analogy, like I said, we're always going to work with the people that are swimming towards us, right? That they want it, right? When we get a new recruit, if they really want it, we're going to spend our time and money with them, not with someone that's swimming away from us. So you guys touched on everything, bro.
Yeah. And so Joe, he makes something. I'm on a mission, make this thing 100-year agency. That's the other thing you got to have, is you got to have vision.
Yes.
You only see this thing as a side gig, or you only see this thing as like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make some money for, 5, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. You're only going to work on it as such.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to create generational wealth for my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids. Not so that they don't have to work, but I'm trying to teach them the things that it's like, hey, look, if you can go after it, you can start at zero and you can make $1 million. And so that's, you got to have a vision, man.
Got to. And that's huge. And Alex, we've talked about this kind of in private some, and we don't got to get into specifics, but I know you specifically have had a huge, mindset change all within the last, very 6 months, year or so. Can you kind of speak to you and your father going out and doing this thing yourself and going all in on your own thing? I did see Ollie somewhere up in there, dropping some wisdom. So can you speak to how your personal mindset has changed and how the personal mindset of your father and those around you has changed as well?
So I would just start off in the beginning. In the beginning when I first started when I was 18, right? And I was graduating high school. So I graduated high school in May of 22. And the end of the year, that 6 months, dude, I've mentioned this before on Friday. I was making like $400 or $500 a week, and I really didn't work, bro. I was just sitting there doing my own thing. You know, I thought I was working, right? I thought because I wasn't calling leads, I was calling a non-responder list, and that list was people they didn't even know. It was cold calling, right? They didn't even know I was calling them. I was just trying to get in homes for them, sit down, talk Medicare, life insurance, whatever, right? So that's really what I was doing, and I was putting in the dials, but I really it was like a flowing dialing system, so I really wasn't even working. I was just sitting there on my butt, right?
Yeah.
And it was a consistent thing till the end of the year, right? And then January came, February came, I was still kind of doing the same thing. Then my dad, we have a sit down talk. What are we doing? Why? Like, what's going on, bro? Like, if you're gonna, and one thing I would say to an agent, like right now, if you're gonna keep staying where you're staying, right? If you're comfortable with making $1,000 a week, right? Which is good for some people, right? Is you're gonna keep going where you're going, right? You want to create, you want to have this, you want to be an agency owner before you're 21, 22. You want to have 200 agents under you, right? You're not going to go anywhere if you're sitting there making not that good money in the insurance business, right? So me and my dad had that sit down talk that, hey, we're gonna sit down together. We're gonna create pretty much a plan that we're gonna help you succeed and do whatever it takes to win, right? That all-in mindset, like we've been talking about today, right? So we had that plan. We had everything lined out. The first couple weeks was solid, and I started getting laxed again, right? And then I had the great opportunity of once the Ultimate Agent rolled around that my dad and Cody talked. I have an opportunity to go there. I was completely nervous, didn't know what was going on, right? So one thing that I'm extremely grateful for my dad is he instilled in me that, and this is the importance of having a mentor, right? If you don't have a good mentor, you got to make sure you have one, right? Is because he instilled into me that if you're going to stay where you're going to stay, you're not going to go where you want to go, right? So I had to change my mindset, like we've talked about, is going places, not staying where I'm at, right? So he helped instill that into me because he was like, dude, it's about time for you to go get a new job. He was, I swear to God, he told me, and if he's watching, he can agree with this. He told me, he said, Alex, we're going to go down to Brahms right now and get you an application. We're going to go to McDonald's and get you an application. That's how bad I was doing.
Bro was about to be on the McChicken line, bro.
Dude, I swear, no one
would be on the ultimate hamburger maker, dude.
So nobody knew that, and I was genuinely scared because me and my dad would fight about business all the time, just because I was being lazy, and I finally broke out of my comfort zone as the Ultimate Agent and showed myself that I can really do this at a high level if I'm really willing to do it, right? So I got back home, and that month, it was my best month ever, right? And then the following month wasn't. I stepped back on the gas, but I already had the Ultimate Agent experience and everything from there. That now, when my dad was harping over me, I put those two together, and it just kept shooting forward. And the cool thing is, and I didn't even know I could do this. At my age, I didn't know I can inspire people at my age. Like, I have agents that have told me, Alex, you've inspired me to go here, right? You've inspired me to raise my goal here because I've only been making $500-$600 a week. So I didn't know at a guy like me, right, that just graduated high school, can inspire other people to go achieve what they want to achieve, you know?
People forget Alex is 19. I forget it. Alex is a stone cold killer at 19 years old. I'm only 23, and I could not imagine where I'd be if I was Alex at 19. He's crazy. He's about it. He's that guy.
I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, I mean, dude, what's that, Collin?
You're him.
You're him.
Not yet, bro. I'm trying. All I can say is I'm really trying, and that's the all-in mindset. If I'm willing to go all in, I'm trying to reach that goal, right? If you're an agent that is not, if you're trying or not, right? If you're not trying, then what are you doing? It's about time for you to just pack up your stuff and go, honestly. If you're not going to try it, let's get up on go, right?
Absolutely.
You're wasting your time, and you're wasting your family's time, and you're wasting your why you do that, you know?
Yep.
You know,
and I think that's one of the best places to end off there, right there, Alex. You said it perfectly. Go after it. Go get it. Don't make excuses. Don't come back to us next Friday and say, well, I tried to implement the mindset stuff and it just didn't really work out. Go implement it. I promise you it'll work out. It worked out for every one of us and everyone who's done it since. It's not something that works for us that we just want to pass it off to other people. This is a universal truth. If you go implement this, I promise you'll see the better results.
All it takes is one decision.
One decision.
That you're just
your decision.
Yep.
Someone else can't make that decision for you. You have to make that decision.
Or else I promise you'll be forced to make a decision.
Oh, a lot of
pack up and go.
Yep. Absolutely. So wrap up here. Shout out to Medicare Machine Factory, Joshua Youngs. That man's a killer. Helps so many agents. Helps us. We love him over here. Shout out Collin. Shout out Alex. Shout out Adam. Unfortunately, couldn't be here this week. We'll see you next Friday. Friday Fuel. We were so happy to have you guys. And peace.
Go kill it.
Go kill it.